Hello everybody, Jason the Kentucky Fried Ham here, and today I've got a little project. I was working on another project. At this point you've probably heard, or maybe not, I don't know, but I'm building a satellite tracker. And so it was a lot of 3D printing, about 50 hours of 3D printing and almost an entire spool. So I had a little bit of filament left over and I was just trying to use up the rest of the roll. So I printed a couple of K6ARKs paddles. This is the single lever paddle, and then I also printed the regular dual paddle. I was trying to print the straight key and ran out of filament. So did a pretty good job getting rid of the rest of the roll. But anyway, today I'm going to try to put this thing together. I have most of the stuff I need, I think. We're going to see how we can cobble some of this together in typical redneck fashion. So he recommends some nichrome wire on Amazon, which I did not buy, and I'll probably regret. But I had a data cable that I'd cut up to make some other stuff, and this was the drain wire, and it doesn't actually feel like the rest of it. It's a little springier. It might be copper, but it kind of almost feels like stainless or something, so I'm going to give this a try and see what happens. So the first thing we want to do is solder this wire, about an inch of it, to each of the kind of wings here on this jack. So I'm just going to put a teeny little bit of solder on here, maybe. Okay, I have some helping hands. You think I would go get them, but we're going to do it the hard way. So I've got about an inch of this wire here. I may have to go get those. We'll see how hard this becomes. To be honest, this wire is so thin I can't even see it with my naked eye. But it solders really easily because it's so small. So let's do this. Do this side. And that's all the soldering we have to do. And actually, you don't even have to do that technically. You can just kind of feed it through the holes in the cable, in the contacts on the jack, and that's good enough. But I have the soldering iron and stuff, so I thought I would go ahead and do it. So next step is to take this piece, the actual paddle piece, and this inserts into it with the ground tab down. This is just kind of drops in here. And then I've got the little nut that holds this guy on here. So we're just going to do this. Maybe kind of loosely, I don't know, let's see. Oops, I don't want the jack to turn. Get these and straighten him up, because this tab on the bottom, we're actually just going to screw in the screw in the center post, and that will hold that, or that's our ground contact. Okay, so now I think what we do, this part might be kind of tricky, is feed this wire through the holes here. I think this part might be a little tricky. Again, the problem is the wire is so small that with my eyesight I cannot actually aim it very well into the hole here. I can't really see the end of the wire, it's so small. Alright, there's one down. Oh, that's what he says. I'm probably not supposed to come out here. Alright, so we got those. Now I think we just want to snap this guy in here. goes in really nicely. Nice positive click there. You could probably do a little cleanup beforehand, but I think it'll work. Alright, so now I need to find my screws, and this calls for an M3x4 screw. I only have an M3x6, I think. One important part of this paddle, if you're going to print it, is it needs to be made out of PETG or PETG, depending on how you pronounce it, because it uses that inherent flexibility of the filament as the hinge, which is pretty ingenious. Let's just try to screw this guy down again and see if that gets it tight. Very cool. Alright, so now I have some M3x4 set screws. And I'm not really sure how he wants this done in his instructions. I'm sure he has a really intelligent way of doing it, but I'm not intelligent, so we're going to do it probably the dumbest way possible. So basically what you're doing, you screw this into this hole, and this will make contact with the wire, keep it captive, and it's kind of your contact spacing adjustment. I'll play with that in a little bit. What I'm going to do is just screw these in and then cut off the excess wire on the outside, which again might be the wrong way to do it, but that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this, or try to do this, with one hand. Okay, so we've got continuity on both sides. I'm going to trim off the excess wire here. Okay. Now we're just going to snap the lid on. There is a direction, or no, this one actually doesn't. The paddles has a directionality to it, but this one does not. So that goes there. And then there's this nifty little cover that snaps on the back, which I guess is optional, but it helps protect the jack.